All right, fourth grade. So your grammar lesson today is on adverbs. So you've learned and practiced with nouns, which are people, places, or things, right? And then you've talked about adjectives, which is a word that describes a noun. We learned about verbs, which are usually an action or what the subject of the sentence is doing or what the thing or the noun is doing. Today we're going to talk about adverbs. An adverb is a word that describes or gives more information about a verb, adjective, or adverb phrase. So what that means is it just kind of is more of a descriptive word that is helping to paint a picture in a sentence. So these words often end with ly. They don't always end with ly, but they often do. So an adverb doesn't just describe a verb. It can be added to an adjective, but it's usually more description of what that word is. They're connected. So we'll go in and we'll talk about this just a little bit more. So in this slide, what you're going to do is you're going to circle the adverbs in the following sentences. If you look down here again, it gives you a little bit of information. Adverbs are words that add meaning to verbs or adjectives. So an example would be he walked slowly. So the verb is walked, the noun is he, okay? And slowly gives a little bit more description on the word walk. Or here's this sentence, I went there yesterday. So he went, the went is the verb, the action, but this is the place and the time. So it's a little bit more description of where. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these circles and you're going to circle the adverb. So let's look at this first sentence. Wendy bravely visited the dentist yesterday. So she visited the dentist. Visited is the verb because that's what she did. Because if you got rid of the word visited, would the sentence make sense? Wendy bravely the dentist yesterday. So the action or the verb is visited. So you're going to throw the circle around the adverb. And the adverb is bravely because what it does is it tells you a little bit more about her action. She didn't just visit, she did it bravely. So it's just a little bit more of a description. So you're going to take these circles and you're going to circle all of the adverbs in the sentences, okay? On our next slide here, you're going to select an adverb from the box to fill in the gaps of the sentences below. So these are all adverbs. Isn't it kind of funny that a lot of them end with ly? Remember, adverbs often end in ly. They don't always, though, because the word like yesterday or tomorrow, where it's signifying a time, that would be, those don't end with ly, but they can still be an adverb. So let's look at this first sentence and we'll drag it. Gracie was blank sleepy. Gracie was slowly sleepy? No, that couldn't be it. So let's look through all these words. Ooh, maybe very, because it's telling me how sleepy Gracie was. So the adverb is connected to the verb sleepy. So you're just going to take that and drag it for each one of these sentences. On the next one, this one's just a little tricky. In the following sentences, it is the underlined word an adverb? So you have to look at the word here and you have to decide if it's an adverb or not. If it is an adverb, you take a smiley face and you drag it to that sentence. If it is not an adverb, then you take the frowny face and you drag that over there. So let's look at the very first sentence. Jack silently read a book in his room. Well, the underlined word is silently. So if we took that word out, does the sentence make sense? Jack read a book in his room. Yes, that makes perfect sense. So the action or the verb is read, and this word is just describing a little bit more about the verb. It's how he did the action, how he read. So I would say, yes, that is an adverb. So I'm going to take my smiley face and I'm going to put it there. if you can look here on the sentence 2, it's Susan is underlined. I want you to think, is Susan an adverb? You guys decide, is it a smiley face or is it a frowny face? And that's what you're gonna do for all of these sentences, okay? Then on slide 5 here, you are going to circle the adverb in each sentence, then identify the noun or verb they are describing. So this one is just kind of expanding on everything else that you know. So first, find the adverb. Then type in the noun or the verb that they are describing. So let's look at the very first sentence. Jake carefully built a tower out of bricks. Well, we know Jake is the noun. Let's see, carefully built a tower of bricks. So what is he doing? He's building something. So built is our verb. That's what he's doing, okay? So now we have to find an adverb in here. Well, tower of bricks is a thing. That kind of sounds like that's the tower that he's building. Carefully, notice it has an ly. That would be my adverb, okay? So we're going to circle the adverb. But I know that's an adverb because it's describing something. Now, is it describing my noun or is it describing my verb? Well, is Jake carefully or is he building carefully? That's what you have to ask yourself. In this sentence, it's not that Jake is careful, it's that he's building careful. The action is what he's being careful. So carefully is connected to the word built. So you're going to erase all this and you're going to type in built. And that's what you're going to do for all of these. Your noun or your your noun or your verb is going to go in here, and your circle is going to go around your adverb. So that's everything on adverbs, but we are going to add one more thing to our lesson today, and that's conjunctions. Conjunctions are really important words. They are words that join together words, phrases, and clauses. So I know that sounds kind of tricky, but it's really not. Basically, they put together two separate thoughts. So if you have a sentence that can be separated into two complete sentences, the word that connects them is a conjunction. Okay, so words are things like with these are words like and, but, if, but they aren't limited or meaning they don't only have to be those words. They could also be the words so, or because, or the word or. You have to look at a sentence and just kind of decide what is the word that connects the two separate thoughts. So we're going to have a little practice with this. In this very first slide, you're going to see that it's going to ask you to circle the conjunction. So you're going to drag your circle. So let's look at this first sentence. Well, actually, let's look at the example. The example says here, I put on my shoes and I went out to play. So you know that they've underlined the word and. We know that's the conjunction, but this is what I mean where it connects two separate sentences into one. Because if I put a period here instead of a comma, I put on my shoes, that's a complete sentence. It's a very simple sentence, but it's a complete sentence. Now, if I just said, if I put a period at the end here and didn't have and, I went out to play is also a sentence. It's a separate thought. It's a complete sentence. And again, it's a simple sentence. But the conjunction connects the two and it makes it a more complicated and more advanced kind of sentence. So let's look at this first sentence here. I can't eat my dessert until after dinner. Well, let's see where the sentence can end and still be complete. Is I can't eat a complete sentence? Yes and no. How about I can't eat my dessert until after dinner? This is a tricky sentence because remember, it's not always and, if, or because. Sometimes it's whatever makes the sentence a separate thought. So we can end our sentence here, I can't eat my dessert, right here, okay? And then it says until after dinner. So that just adds more to the sentence. So my conjunction here is until because it connects the two. This would have been two separate sentences. I can't eat my dessert. End of sentence. I can't eat my or then it can say I can't eat until after dinner, I guess. So until after dinner is just an add-on, okay? It joins words or phrases. So it's joining the two together. I know that's a tricky one. Let's go to slide 8. So choose an appropriate coordinating conjunction to make each pair of simple sentences into a compound sentence. Type the new sentence. What a compound sentence is what we're talking about. It's a longer, more advanced sentence. So here are two sentences. I like chicken. I love sweet corn. So we have to make this into one compound sentence, or just one sentence. But you're not going to just delete the period. You have to add a conjunction. So what if I put, you're going to type here, so I'm going to delete the type here, and I'm going to put, I like chicken and I love sweet corn. The word and is my conjunction. I just connected those two separate thoughts, those two sentences. So that's what you're going to do for the next 3. On this one, you are going to complete the sentences using the coordinating conjunctions. So you're just going to take these 4 different conjunctions and decide what one will fit in each sentence. So in this first one, you must study for the test, blank, you will fail. So if you study, will you fail? So it wouldn't go like this. You must study for the test and you will fail, because that's not the right conjunction. That doesn't make sense. And you're not going to study so you will fail, but you might study for the test or you will fail. Meaning that if you don't study for the test, you will fail. So that's what you're going to do, is you're going to pick one of these 4 conjunctions and put them in these blanks. Just a couple more slides here. On this last one, you're going to do the same thing that you were doing in slide 9. You're going to use the conjunctions before, because, until, and while to fill in these blanks. So you pick the one that makes the most sense in each of these sentences. Do you see how they're not just and, if, or ors? They can be before, because, until, while. They're just what connects 2 sentences or 2 phrases. The last slide here is you're going to continue on with that same practice. You're going to take these 4 conjunctions. These are subordinating conjunctions, which means they're going to be at the beginning of a sentence. Okay? Oh, I guess not. So what you're going to do is you're just going to pick the conjunction that's going to start the sentence. So let's see. So you're going to look at this sentence and we're going to choose one. Blank, the hob is in low heat. You can leave the carrots to cook. So you have to decide which one of these are going to fit here. So is it going to be before the hob is in low heat, you can leave the carrots to cook? No, and the hob is part of a stove, guys. So maybe after the hob is in low heat, you can leave the carrots to cook. So it's after you do this. So these are just subordinating conjunctions are just words that connect sentences in just a different way. Okay, so this one would be after. Let me type. It's not going to let me type, guys. Yours will let you type. So that is the end of this quick lesson. Please reach out if you have any questions.